So now we have come to our main act for this evening, Tim Hutchinson. I said to Tim earlier, I was like, do you want to give me a bio so that I can tell people about you? And he was like, nah, just tell people what a great guy I am. And I was like, well, that I can do. Anyone who has met Tim would know that he's not just an amazing musician, but also an amazing person. I recently interviewed Tim for my podcast, and I've been sitting at home literally all day listening to the sound of Tim's voice in my ear, and then it got to like 5 p.m. and I was like, oh, I better go, I've got to go and listen to the sound of Tim's voice. But I was excited by that idea, and I think that really says something. So I can't wait to hear the incredible music that he has for us this evening. Please welcome Tim and friends.
The wedding had begun, but soon the wine was empty, and Mary said, "My son, we're still thirsty." "My time will come," said he, "you know that they're not ready." But she insists and gives the word for them to follow him. "Take these jars," said he, "and fill them up with water. And come, my dears, let's drink and dine. Finer wine you will not find." A year or two went by, and by the sea he taught them. But some had hearts of stone towards him. They said, "Our fathers ate the bread that fell from heaven. What more do you give us than they had?" "My body is that bread, my flesh and blood are for you. So come, my dears, let's pour the cup. The time for you is almost up. Will you dine in the feast that is outside of time, with the bread that gives sight to the blind, and the blood that will flood into your heart when you make up your mind to walk upon the road, their eyes fixed on the gravel, and he came up beside without them knowing. He told them about a man that neither spear nor nail nor death could hold beyond this morning. They marveled at these words asked him if he'd join them. He said, "Come, my dears, I'll pour the wine, I'll touch your hearts, I'll heal your eyes. Will you dine in the feast that is outside of time, with the bread that gives sight to the blind, and the blood that will flood into your heart when you make up your mind? It's better that I go, for I will send another, and he will give you grace and power, a power to rule your heart, and give you tongues of fire, and raise the dead, and set my seal upon you. But I'll still be with you until the age is ended. So come, my dears, let's drink and dine and revel in our love divine. Will you dine in the feast that is outside of time, with the bread that gives sight to the blind, and the blood that will flood into your heart when you make up your mind? Thank you so much. It's such a joy to play for you here in this wonderful place, in this wonderful church where the Mass was just celebrated. And thank you so much to Chukwuemeka for that wonderful set as well, and for your heart of prayer. This song is called The Lord of Rest. The Lord of rest my shepherd is, with him I shall not hunger. My path is straight for his name's sake, my burden light to shoulder. Through fields of wheat my shepherd leads. The scribes look on and murmur. Have they not read what David did when he and his did hunger? Oh, Sabbath rest, how sweet it is. My cup it runneth over, and I am fed on finest bread, For he, the Lord, my shepherd is. The Lord of rest, my shepherd is. Through valley dark he guided, and I will fear no law of death, for mercy he desireth. Oh, Sabbath rest, how sure it is, a table set before me, and I will eat the finest wheat, for he, the Lord, my shepherd is. The Lord of rest, my shepherd is. While enemies surround me, a grain is ground in human flesh, a flower so fresh to feed me. Oh, Sabbath rest, sincere it is, the bread of presence broken. No stone will stand upon the rest, for he, the Lord of Sabbath is. Thank you. I'd like to invite a few people to join me on this next song. So if all the string players could come up, please. That would be lovely. I'm really excited to be playing with such wonderful string players. And that last song was kind of like the word that comes to mind is mashup, but that's not really what I would usually use to describe the merging of two scriptures. I'd had this desire to write a song about Jesus going through the cornfields, the grain fields on the Sabbath day, and what that must have been like from the perspective of the disciples of, eating the grains on the Sabbath day and then being told off by the Pharisees, and then Jesus sticking up for them. And I decided to put it in the context of the psalm, "The Lord is my shepherd." So that is what that was, and it's sort of part of a thing that I've started doing through music, and that is to take one piece of scripture and to use it to sort of shed light on another piece of scripture, which is itself, I think, quite a contemplative tradition. In the contemplative tradition, I should say. And now we're going to do a song also kind of, it's inspired by David. This is called "How David Sang," and it came from a time when I was getting into sort of amateur photography, And I had my dad's old camera, and I was taking photographs, and I found myself in this little dusty rural setting watching a flock of sheep. And I've always been fascinated by the figure of David in the Bible, who was a shepherd, and wondering to myself, what was it that David understood through being a shepherd that made him a worthy vessel of the music that he played, and these mysteries that were kind of entrusted to him. So that was the background for the song. And we actually don't have cello on the song, but our cellist is with us, so he'll be on the next song. 1, 2, 3, 4. I began to love this time of day ever since I noticed how the light changes. I feel like I'm painting pictures, looking through my father's favorite old camera lens. The branches of the trees assume their place. Broken bricks arrange themselves like a crumbled theater stage. Sitting in the dust, I'm waiting, hoping that the sun will paint these sheep all bronze and gold. And I wonder what David must have known. Looking through one grateful eye, I smile and focus. Their dirty woolen worn out coats awaken like a flame upon a burning bale of hay. And I wonder how David used to play. Turns to me, its hair all shimmering. For all I know, I'm just another tree to it. A bear could barely look less tame, a lamb within a lion's mane. At least that's what I thought I saw that evening. And I wonder how David David used to sing. Right, I'm inviting Edwin to join us for this song. I think many of you will know Edwin from, if you're sort of even vaguely connected with the Catholic music scene in London. Edwin is involved in many different projects, and his expertise and his genius is always wonderful to work with. And this has proved such a joy to work with all these musicians, I must say. It's been really, really wonderful. All right. 1, 2, 3. Bright white and full of mystery, with hair like will and eyes of flame. His clothing soaked in sunshine, oceans in his voice, dew on his name. Where do the seasons come from? Where do the rivers run? Break into my confusion. I'm desperate for this collision. Oh, water soft and soothing, oh, water here to quench my thirst. How deep this cup to swallow? My drowning heart finds second birth. Come like an arrow for me, land right between my chest, break into my delusion. I'm desperate for this collision. Oh, grace upon the grace that fills her from within. The infant leaps within me, and holy wine fills new wine skin. Sweet is the love that lingers, thorns crown the Prince of Peace, broken for my redemption, so desperate for this collision. I feel the stillness beneath her water. I hear the crumbling waves above. Ever whole and ever breaking, like the mystery of love. And the image of this longing will hollow out my lust. I'll throw myself in far and deep, saying it is right and just. Run across her hazy shore, to wade and splash and fall. I'll breathe it out, to breathe it in, to answer when she calls. A hand is felt that reaches deep, and take this hand I must, to lead my heart in joyous dance, to it is right and just. Pray don't calm these icy swells. I beat thrice upon my breast. Don't speak a word of harsh rebuke, to put these seas to rest. I'll sail with you, and while you sleep, I'll rest with you and trust that you will calm the storm within, for it is right and just. This cup of mass and weight and depth, whose worth I dare not guess, I I kneel before your shore of grace in my unworthiness, unworthy such that you should not my roof to come beneath. And yet neath yours I am thrust, I who am merely dust. Let us give thanks to the Lord our God, for it is right and just. Thank you. This next one is called Bread Alone. And it's available on my album on Spotify. And you can hear it on Radio Maria as well. A lot of people, when they saw the poster for this concert, they said, "Where are you going?" But basically, for those of you who don't know, I've been working for Radio Maria for the last 2.5 years, more or less, and it's been a wonderful, really blessed time. And I wanted a chance just to say goodbye, and to give you a chance to say goodbye to me. If you're a Radio Maria listener, do you want to raise your hand? Nice. Yeah. Yeah. So I'll maybe say a thing or two about where I'm going. Sure. Let's tune. Yeah. Okay, what do you want, an A? Sounds like the beginning of a concert, right? Yeah, an orchestra. Okay. So this song came out of a conversation with a friend that I was having one day, and I used to be a school teacher, and we were talking about education, and then it was just one of those conversations that's really sort of like encouraging and inspiring, and ideas are coming up, and later that evening I had sat down to write a very different song, and this one kind of just came out, and when the friend heard the song, the following day actually, she said, "Oh wow, it sounds like just a continuation of the conversation we were having." I thought, oh yeah, that's true. But it's funny how these things happen sort of subconsciously, but it was the last thing that was said in the conversation was, "Man does not live by bread alone." And it's also a little homage to my mother, because some of the things in here are things that she said to me. Little one here in my keep, so innocent and bold, little hands and little feet to carry, care and hold. In your heart you'll find a hope this world will never meet. Man can't live on bread alone, you see. Go to school now, pack your things, honey, every page is yours. They will tell you what you learn will someday open doors. But don't forget that reason's hand a loving conscience feeds. Man can't live on bread alone, you see. May you wake up every day with peace upon your chest, dreams that linger in your heart give your conscience rest. Set your hands to work that gives, though others take and cheat. Man needs more than bread alone to eat. Little boy of almost 12 and everything's a chore. Look at those who have no cares, no conscience and no law, but covered not a single coin of mother's words to you. Man can't live on bread alone, it's true. May you wake up every day with peace upon your chest, dreams that linger in your heart, and give your conscience rest. Set your hands to work that heals, though others bruise and kill. Man needs more than bread to have his fill. Met a man who held his world as a cardboard painted plight. Before I filled the need he begged, I held his hand so tight. Then he gave me his own name, and I in turn gave mine. And we'll die on bread alone in time. May you wake up every day with peace on your chest, dreams that linger in your heart, and give your conscience rest. Set your hands to work that builds, though others tear apart. Man needs more than bread to heal his heart. Man needs more than bread to heal his heart. All right, this requires some fancy tuning, so bear with me. So I think most of you would probably know that the reason why I'm leaving Radio Maria is because I am joining. Have you seen some people wearing some funny white clothes here? At least one. I'm sorry, I'm joining the Dominicans. Father Toby's waving at me because he's got nothing clever to say. Do you not have something clever to say for once? And it's been an absolute joy to live with them for the last little while, which is an unusual privilege. Okay, I get this. So yesterday was the feast of Saint Dominic, and Father Aidan was listening to the smooth jazz playing in the garden while we were eating a gastronomical meal in celebration of Saint Dominic, and there was some saxophone playing, and he looked over at me and he said, "I absolutely hate the saxophone." So I was trying to think of a way that I could bring my saxophone and incorporate it into one of the pieces of music today. But then I thought maybe I'll wait until I've joined the Dominicans first before I take chances like that. Okay, I think it's tuned. There we go. All right, and this song is called One Day Younger. Up your hill and found you to be speaking plainly in words I knew were true, and that's when I knew truth was beautiful. I followed where you led till the hardness deep inside me crumbled. I cherished all you said, and you lifted me each time I stumbled. And I feel like a weight lifted from my shoulders. I feel like I've aged one day younger. The falling of the leaves, the changing of the green reminds me the way I used to be, the weariness I left behind me, the stillness in your gaze. I flounder in its peaceful silence. My efforts have proved vain. I'm powerless before your kindness, and I feel like weights lifted from my shoulders. I feel like I've aged one day younger. I feel like a weight lifted from my shoulders, and I feel like I've aged one day younger. Now I have to tune it back. crimson love. My need for you, it's so steep, it is deeper than the valley that steams in the light of the morning. When the world was still asleep, crimson love. And then leaving lies, acting weak for the kind of love that you whispered to me through the eve. When man was still asleep, you loved me so deep. Can you smell the thunder? The clouds swirl with laughter. Smell of love redemptive is thick in the air. Can you smell the thunder? The clouds swirl with laughter. The smell of love redemptive is thick in the air. I can smell the thunder. The clouds swirl with laughter. The fall of crimson rain, it fills my world again. Oh, crimson love. It hurts when the blood flows again, but I'm gray-stained, 'cause you died and you rose in the morning. Now my heart no longer sleeps. Crimson love. It hurts when the blood flows again, 'cause I'm dazed, gray-stained, 'cause you died and you rose in the morning. You love me so deep. 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 Hand for Ella, please. So that was a song by a dear friend of mine. And I'm going to play you a new one. And it's called Clean Water. One moment. It's okay. How long I've been waiting. How long I've been waiting. Come, let me sprinkle clean water upon you. Come, let me sprinkle clean water upon you. And do for your darkness what your tears can't do. Come, let me sprinkle clean water upon you. Come, let me take from you your heart of stone. Come, let me take from you your heart of stone. I'll make you a new one that's just like my old. Come, let me take from you your heart of stone. How long I've been waiting, how long I've been waiting. I long to turn you like clay on a wheel. Come, let me turn you like clay on a wheel. I know that you're broken, but my hands can heal. Come, let me turn you like clay on a wheel. Come, let me lead you near water so still. You have a thirst that I'm thirsting to fill. Come, let me do all the things that I do. When I come and sprinkle clean water upon you. I long to clothe you in garments of white. Come, let me clothe you in garments of white. There's room at the table if you were dressed right. Come, let me clothe you in garments of white. Come, take the shoes off of your tired feet. I'll show you my way, it is gentle and sweet. If you are weary and worn out and bruised, I'll come and sprinkle clean water upon you. How long I've been waiting. Thank you very much. We're going to do one more song for you. And this is called Their Burden is Light. Can you just give Edwin a round of applause, please? He learned that song today. All right, so this one was inspired by something that somebody said. They were doing a little play on the word light. In my yoke is easy and my burden is light. And this person said, what if we thought of that word light as that which shines rather than not heavy? I thought, oh, that's an interesting idea. So I decided to kind of play with that idea in this song. I think his idea was that it was almost like what we carry, what Christ gives is a different way of seeing. You know, if your eye is full of light, then your whole body will be sound. If your eye is sound, your whole body will be full of light. And then I combined it with a meditation on the Beatitudes. And so the chorus says, see, the children of the sun, how beautiful they shine. Their burden is light. And then the verses kind of look at different aspects of the saints through the lens of the Beatitudes. Blessed are the poor in spirit. Blessed are the meek. Blessed are the pure, etc. And I'm very happy to be joined by these wonderful musicians for this. It's been really wonderful playing for you. Thank you so much for having us. Here it is, The Burden is Light. So, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. Blessed the poor, the least of us all, hands held high and open, the kingdom of heaven is yours. Blessed are those no man can console. Through lenses of tears you see clear and hear the Comforter's call. Blessed the meek who measuredly speak. You treasure a world beyond worth, yet to you shall be given the earth. See the children of the sun, how beautiful they shine. Their burden is light. They cannot be cursed who hunger and thirst for righteousness fruit to spring from the root, and the lost to be first. Blessed are these who live on their knees. The mercy they show is the measure they know they earnestly need. Blessed the pure in heart and in all, what they now dimly see, their eyes will unhindered behold. See the children of the sun, how beautiful they shine. Their burden is light. Oh, see the children of the sun, how beautiful they shine. Their burden is light. Oh, see the children of the sun, how beautiful they shine. Their burden is light. Oh, see the children of the sun, how beautiful they shine. Their burden is light. Their burden is light. Their burden is light. Their burden is light. Oh, see the children of the sun, their burden is light. Blessed is he, the bringer of peace. The darkness shall not overcome the bright morning sun. as it springs from the east. Thank you very much. All right, so you'll have to sing along for this one. It's very easy. The words are "this old airplane," just 3 words. But it's got a melisma in it. Do you know what a melisma is? Yeah, I see some nods around there. Those of you from the choir group. A melisma is when you have one syllable but you have many notes. So it goes like this: this old aeroplane. Do you think you can get that? This old aeroplane. Let's try it. This old aeroplane. Again. This old airplane. You got the chords? Yeah, cool, good. You got it? So it's just a D, C, F, C, D. Great. Oh, gave away my secrets. All right, so here it goes. This old airplane. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. I wanna fly on an old plane across the empty skies above the floodplains, with the Milky Way as my compass, and my compass as my friend. The destination is bound to change with the turning of each day, but the movement stays the same. My home is, you ready? This old airplane, this old airplane. Okay, now you sing it. This old airplane. Very nice, a little bit louder. This old airplane. This old airplane. Now listen to this. There's a boy on the ground with his eyes on the sky, and he lifts up both his arms as he runs through the knee-high grass. I hear him cry like a voice in my mind, like a song or a whisper. I can see his need to fly. He says, reach out and touch me, oh, reach out and touch me. I see you up there, this really isn't fair. Reach out and touch me, oh, reach out and touch me. I live on the ground, but the sky is my country. Are you ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. This old airplane. This old airplane. Louder. This old airplane. This old airplane. I'm flying on this old airplane. This old airplane. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Evening, everyone. I'm Father Toby, the priest director of Radio Maria, and I'd ask you just to put your hands together once more for Tim and friends. Now, some of you may remember the classic film Dirty Dancing, and some of you in your bolder moments might have attempted that lift. I've done it in a swimming pool. But if you've seen it, you'll definitely remember that iconic line that Patrick Swayze says of Jennifer Grey, "Nobody puts baby in the corner." And that line came to mind because I remember the first time that I heard Tim perform live, he was supporting Justin Bolger of the Hillbilly Thomists, and was the warm-up act. And as soon as I heard him, I thought, he needs his own concert. He needs to come out of the corner. So I'm delighted we've had that this evening. Thank you very, very much. And Tim, as you prepare for an outfit change, and by the way, I wasn't actually waving at you, I was waving at Father Matthew, sharing the same outfit as me, so don't make it always all about you. But as you prepare for an outfit change and get ready for life dressed like me, it's fair to say that the world has not lost a fashion icon, though you're looking pretty dapper tonight. But the Dominicans will be gaining a musician of real caliber, real depth, but more importantly, I know that we're gaining a man of prayer, committed to the truth, committed to transformative friendships, and an icon of Christ. And the gift that God has given you in your music and many other gifts, I'm sure, will be used in the order to bring many souls to love of God. And perhaps amongst them, those souls less open to straightforward arguments for truth and goodness, but who nonetheless cannot resist the power of beauty. Cardinal Daniels wrote, "Modern man doubts the truth, resists the good, but is fascinated by beauty." Now, working for Radio Maria has had me engaged in Catholicism and the arts in a much deeper way than I've ever been before. And lately reading the lectures of retreat given by Pope John Paul II to artists, the late great Pope speaks of the temptation for artists to set themselves up as idols when their real calling is to be icons. And he quotes a line from the poet Zygmunt Krasinski, "A stream of beauty flows through you. You yourself are not beauty." Well, in your music this evening and everybody else, the beauty of God has flowed through you, and we've all shared in it. So thank you very much. But just as you happily assisted Justin Bolger on the Hillbilly Thomist night, so too you've been assisted by many artists this evening who are all worth their own shows, who all, in fact, do their own concerts. But because they are icons, not idols, they've given their time and talents to make something beautiful for God this evening alongside you. So a profound thank you to all our supporting artists, to Ella, to Hope, to Father Matthew, to Henry, to Edwin, and perhaps a special mention to Chukwemeka, who's come all the way from Aberdeen, where he leads music at St. Mary's Cathedral, Aberdeen. So if you're in Scotland, head to St. Mary's, Aberdeen. Thank you so much for being with us tonight and opening up. Also, I want to say a thank you to all those who've helped behind the scenes and actually at the beginning of the concert in front of the scenes, to Ian and Marco with sound and broadcasting. I want to say a special thank you to Monsignor Philip Whitmore for letting us have the use of his beautiful church this evening. And I'm very grateful that, unlike the Bishop of Fulham, you haven't made an appearance in a dressing gown and told us to stop that racket and cleared us out before our time. So thank you very much to you, Monsignor Philip. And also a big thank you to Ivana, who's in the studio in Cambridge and broadcasting this for our listeners. Now, one of the beautiful things I've observed in the Catholic music scene is the refreshing absence of ego and the way that you all support one another. And it's a real image of what the church should be. Many members, but one body. And I'm also profoundly grateful for the way that all of you have supported Radio Maria, giving of your time and talents. Now, Tim sung that man cannot live by bread alone, but I also know that he can't live without it. And all of you have given your time and talent for free. And so I'd urge all of you who are here sitting in the pews to support these artists, to buy their music, to book them for concerts, the bare minimum to like and subscribe to them on Spotify, YouTube, whatever you listen to your music on. Follow them on their various channels. Part of the job of Radio Maria, as I see it, is to help artists like these get better known in order that more people might support you and help you to share your gift. That, I think, is the economics of the gospel. The gift that is freely given gets multiplied. There's abundance in life in Christ. The gift has to be freely given, but to be received, well, that demands some response from each of us. Now, one of the other points that JP2 makes in his retreat to artists on the nature of God and beauty is the way that artists suffer for the sake of their art. Now, any of you who've sat through a poor, dull, awful homily or have been to the Tate Modern will know that bad art makes us all suffer. That's a bit unfair on everything in the Tate Modern, just most of the stuff in there. But it's also the case that with good art, the artist has suffered even as we enjoy it. There are labor pains involved in bringing the artistic creation to birth. And one thing that I've witnessed since I've become priest director is just how much blood, sweat, and tears goes into making a night like tonight possible. The sacrifice that goes into bringing different people together, perhaps sacrificing their own vision of how it might be done for a unified vision, which again is an image of the church. God works through the brokenness of the artist, a brokenness in which we all share, and works something beautiful. But beauty doesn't come if we resist sacrifice. A singer-songwriter, Mike Mangione, who I had on the radio yesterday writing about his latest album, Blood and Water, he says, "All things of significance and value in our lives require a certain level of sacrifice. We often run from sacrifice and rarely talk about it as being valuable, but it is the gatekeeper to most things that lead to a fulfilling life. We should learn to embrace and celebrate sacrifice as a necessary labor to the fruit of our lives." So thank you to all of our musicians for the sacrifice that they make in order that we might contemplate the beauty of Christ. And I really feel that this evening we've not so much as listened to a concert as participated in a prayer. Now, perhaps we see most obviously sacrifice in our artists and in our sports stars, but it's also called to be true of all of us. On Monday this week, I was in my favorite of the papal basilicas in Rome, St. Paul, outside the walls, and looking at the beautiful Paschal stand there, about halfway up on the left-hand side, carved in stone, then is an image of Christ crucified. But underneath the cross, shown actually holding up the arms of the cross, are Mary and St. John. And that's a depiction in stone of the call to all of us to share in both the spirit and the flesh in the sufferings of Christ on the cross, in order that we might also participate and multiply his redemptive works. Now, that time in Rome was exhausting and a great joy too. Just the day before, I'd celebrated a mass with 1 million young people. Now, I think the Pope being there had slightly more to do with the 1 million people than me, but the numbers there spoke to something that is going on right now, that's going on all over the world, what has been termed by some with reference to our country as a quiet revival. And just the week before, I was at the We Believe Festival, where Radio Maria was broadcasting from our own stage in the biggest celebration of Catholic life in this country that's taken place in my lifetime. And something is definitely going on. The Holy Spirit is stirring things up. And one of the things that struck me was the depth and the variety of musical talent that was on show there. I couldn't have imagined the same thing happening just 10 years ago. I don't know if you agree with me, Edwin. There's something happening. The beauty of its art and the health of a culture, they're in a symbiotic relationship. And something good and beautiful is happening in the Catholic Church right now, reflected in all our artists, musicians here. And it wasn't the case a decade ago. And what is going on, what has happened this evening, stands in stark contrast, in attractive contrast to the arts of the broader dominant culture, where increasingly we see artists in not nearly enough spandex, and that's not a line I use very often, but we see them in not nearly enough clothing, parading and gyrating, even now sometimes in actual devil costumes. The choice that each of us needs to make is becoming increasingly stark. And this radio exists to make sure that people know that there is a choice and have the chance to choose for Christ. And without your support, there can be no creative minority that Pope Benedict spoke of. These artists this evening and others that we feature on the radio, and we have another one who I'd like to have on the radio, well, we've played on the radio and I'd like to have her perform in person one evening, Alessi, who's here with her family. These artists and others, they are turning up the volume on the quiet revival. And to quote from another film that I love, this is Spinal Tap, they're playing with speakers that go all the way to 11. If you don't get that reference, watch the film, it's great. But please support them and support Radio Maria and help do something beautiful for God. So I'd invite you one more time, put your hands together for all our artists, for Tim and friends. Come up, come up, come up. Have a photo all together. Should we get a photo of them all? You go.